Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Um, Now we've been decoding the Star Wars changes, or trying our best, and we've been coming up with some interesting stuff. It just got a little more interesting, and it's got me thinking about other stuff um, as it relates to decoding these things. We had Luke to know, Luke, I am your father, changed to no, I am your father, and we just took Luke and no down because nothing crossed out. And whether those of you who are following along know what I'm talking about. And then I took gold and silver because his C3PO's leg turned from gold to silver, right? So I took those as elements, took their atomic number on the periodic table of elements. 79 for gold and 47 for silver. I crossed off the sevens and took 9 and 4. And 9 in numerology is I and R, and 4 is D and M and V. So I just dropped those down. All right. So you had LUKNOIRDMV. And we have got that to go through forwards and backwards in the stock market. We've got that to go forwards and backwards in genetics. And now we've got it to go forwards and backwards in chemicals. And I'm thinking about, now I'm wondering something, guys. So let's just go through this. LU ends up being Lucient Technologies. No. Nope. No. I was reading another decode. It was the same. I'm sorry. This is chemicals now. Lu ends up being lutetium, lutetium on the periodic table of elements. All right, it's a metal. So right off the bat, if you remember in my previous video, I expected these to come back as some sort of chemicals for animals and stuff, but that doesn't seem to be the case now, does it? KE stands for KE Chemicals Company. So you got another chemical company. NiO ends up being nitrosyl iodide, and it's a chemical too. RDM ends up being RDM Chemicals, another chemical company. So there's two chemical companies. V by itself, because you're at the end, you're at your last V, and you end up having vanadium on the periodic table of elements. And if I'm not mistaken, vanadium is a uh, a silvery metal that resists corrosion. And biological role, guys. Vanadium is essential to some species, including humans, although we need very little. So that's interesting. Actually, let me go back to this other periodic table, lutein. Let's see if that has a biological role. Uses and properties. Lithium has no known biological role and low toxicity. Its uses is little used outside of research. One of its few commercial uses is as a catalyst for cracking hydrocarbons in oil refineries. So, all right. So, either way, it's there, and your guess is as good as mine as to why someone would be calculating it. But it could be the quantum computer, too. They are artificial intelligence, so they could be calculating these things themselves, and we might not even, some of it, I don't know. Some of it's clear messages, but like the one to Willa. But vanadium on the periodic table of elements gets you through going forwards in chemicals. Now we're going to start coming back, and we got MV, and MV ends up being a nerve agent. All right, and if I'm not mistaken, there's something else it ends up being. Where is MV? Huh. Huh. Well, I must have lost my window, guys. I don't know how. But, yeah, anyway, MV ends up being a nerve agent. Maybe I actually... That's VM. Where did I get VM? Oh! Because I'm reading it backwards. VM. That's where I made my mistake, guys. I apologize for that. Okay, yes. VM ends up being a nerve agent. And VM also ends up being VM Chemicals, so another chemical company plus a nerve agent. My apologies for that. DRI ends up being Desert Research Institute. So there's a research institute, and they could have a quantum computer too. So that's an interesting thing. Why not? One, ONE, ends up being A1 Chemicals and Equipment. So another chemical company, right? And KUL ends up being Faculty of Faculty of Biotechnology and Environmental Sciences. And that gets you through going forwards and backwards in chemicals. So you have another candidate for a quantum computer user in Desert Research Institute. Why not? I mean, they could have been using it to calculate it all, whatever's going on out there. I don't know if that'll pick up on the camera, but apparently somebody doesn't much care for somebody out there. So,
sorry guys, our neighbors are fighting.
Yeah,
it happens.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens.
But yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I'm going to underline this because actually this could be our new candidate, and I'm going to run the numbers against that. I'm going to run the random hits and translations against these underlined potential candidates, and that's what I'm seeing, guys. Like all these chemical companies, all these companies that we're seeing in these searches could potentially be your quantum computer users, especially like this research institute. I mean, that actually makes perfect sense, and they could have been looking it all up. But hydroscopic powders such as inorganic salts, chemical exposure. It's that DRI, Desert Research Institute. Wherever it is, Desert Research Institute, right here. The mission of the Trace Chemistry Laboratory is to provide high-quality trace and ultra-trace chemical and physical analysis of various environmental samples. And yeah, I'll just be providing this link, actually, guys. But that actually would be a very good candidate to have a quantum computer themselves, right? And they could have been calculating Diamond V genetics. They could have been calculating this dude at the Department of Molecular Biology at Cornell University. They could have been calculating these other chemical companies. And it could be right there in the letters. So we'll run the random hits and translations in the coming days, and then we'll put the numbers to it. And I will be running those numbers against all these underlined companies and see what happens with that. Like so far, it seems that the numbers will not go back to whoever's using the quantum computer. So I guess we'll test that theory in this, and we'll run them against all three of these, and we'll see what happens. So that's going to be it for now, guys. This is I'm learning a lot from this. We're learning a lot from doing this. Star Wars one for some reason, and even though we're missing information out the
And I wasn't a huge Star Wars fan, so at least it, brought me some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Knowledge
yeah, knowledge and,
or
I don't know.
of Star
It's
Wars.
productive. There we go.
Right. She doesn't know nothing of anything about Star Wars. I
Not
do.
a fan.
I've seen pretty much all the Star Wars movies,
I just want a
although
Chewbacca. That's all.
although although I would probably pick out changes in the Big Lebowski better, which by the way I might actually look into that because the Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies, and if I could have a chance to find out, what changed that rug to carpet, because now it's a carpet at one point, his rug. And that was a weird thing for me. And there's a whole story on that, but that's a story. It's a story for another time. I mean, a recent story talking about that with somebody. Uh, that was kind of interesting. But we're gonna let this video go at that, guys. That was your chemical forwards and backwards decode, and you had just these letters here. And so far, we've got a couple pages of data off of it. So, yeah, not bad. Off of something that we knew we were missing information from, for sure, without question. And we'll run the other categories and see what we find in the numbers in the coming days. And then there's another song I want to decode in particular, pretty bad, see what's up with it, that we already have on the chart. So that's probably going to be what we do next. So that's going to be it for now, guys. Thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, subscriptions. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.